Hello, friends. Welcome back. We will start our next 10 questions. Okay. And the first question in 2019 prelims, like the first question of this discussion, which is from 2019 prelims question paper GS1. Now, the first question is building Kalyan Mandapa was notable feature in the temple construction in the kingdom of. Now there were four options: Chalukya, Chandela, Rashtrakuta, Vijayanagara. The answer is Vijayanagara Empire, and the best source for this was the Vijayanagar kingdom. Vijayanagara kingdom is discussed in themes in Indian history part 2. There is a chapter on Vijayanagara Empire where there is an image which is shown where the word Kalyan Mandapa has been used. The purpose of this is for marriage purpose. Okay, I can show you. See here, Kalyan Mandapa word is used, mean to celebrate divine weddings. Okay, so the source is themes in Indian history part 2. Come to next question. Consider the following statements. The first statement is the revenue administration of Delhi Sultanate, in charge of the revenue collection was known as Amil. Okay, let us say, like, firstly we will use our knowledge. It may happen that you may not have read about this. Okay, somehow if we don't get exact answer, we will try to eliminate some of the statements, and depending on that, some of the options. Come to second, the Ikta system of sultans of Delhi was an ancient indigenous institution. If you have read old NCERT regarding medieval history, here the Ikta system is very well mentioned in the Sultanate period, and it is said in that book that it has came into existence only in that time and not before. So second statement in that case should be wrong. Having decided that second is wrong, you can remove two options. Now let us say you don't know about first and third. You can easily have two options removed and two probable answers in front of you. Either statement 1 is right or third is right. Both can't be true at the same time. The actual answer is 3, that is C, that Mir Bakshi came into existence during the reign of third is wrong. Actual answer is 1, that is the revenue administration of Delhi Sultanate. The in charge of revenue collection was known as Amil. In case of Mir Bakshi, it came into existence in Mughal Empire, and it was for military purpose. So the best source to read about medieval history is this book, old NCERT medieval history. Okay, come to question number 13. The following statements: Saint Nimbarka was contemporary of Akbar. Okay, second, Saint Kabir was greatly influenced by Sheikh Ahmad Shirhindi. Now it may happen that you might not have read these words, but you know Akbar, you know Kabir. Akbar, he was the Mughal king of 16th century. To be precise, from 1560 to 16 something 0304. After him, Jahangir came in. Okay, so you know him, but you don't know Nimbarka. You know Sant Kabir, but you don't know Sheikh Ahmad Sirindi. So it's completely factual. If you don't know anything, it may be difficult for you to solve this question. So whatever knowledge you have, you can use. If you don't know anything, just skip the question or attempt it at the later stage of your examination. Maybe in the last few minutes of the paper you can attempt such questions. Don't spend too much time on such questions which are completely factual. So the source for this is to know about Sheikh Ahmad Sirhindi's themes in Indian history. Indian history. This word is mentioned twice in the book. Okay, one I will show you. See here, Sheikh Ahmad Sirindi, he is shown to be in 17th century. Okay, and as we know from other sources that Saint Kabir was in 14th century. So in that case, second statement is wrong. At least you can remove these two. Answer should be one only, neither 1 and 2. But if you read more about Saint Nimbarka, he is from 13th century. So you can remove 1 as well. The answer then should be neither 1 and 2. But it is completely factual. It's up to you. If you have knowledge, then you can solve. Else, the best way is to attempt it at later stage. Now come to next question. With reference to the British colonial rule in India, consider the following statements. Mahatma Gandhi was instrumental, the word is instrumental, in the abolition of system of indentured labours. That means he has played his part to abolish the system of indentured labours, especially in South Africa. He played a major role. Okay, come to second statement. Lord Chelmsford's war conference, Mahatma Gandhi did not support the resolution on recruiting Indians for the World War. Second statement is wrong. First is right, second is wrong. Why? If you read Gandhi's book, My Experiments with Truth, in that book, Gandhi played active role in helping British government till First World War. For example, in the Boers War, he supported the British government there, the South African government there. Even in case of World War I, he took part in recruiting people. At the same time, he gave help to ambulance service at that time. Okay, so second statement is wrong because Gandhi did support him. Okay, here you don't know which war it was talking about, World War I or II, but you know this person, Lord Chelmsford. He was Governor General during First World War. Okay, so it is talking about World War I. Second is wrong because Gandhi supported. Come to third. Consequent upon the breaking of salt law by Indian people, the Indian National Congress was declared illegal. Yes, after salt law, during the civil disobedience movement, Indian National Congress was declared illegal by the colonial rulers. Spectrum, modern history will help you in knowing this fact. Okay, in that case, 2 is wrong. If you remove 2, you don't have to worry about first and third statement. Even if you are confused about whether after salt law Congress was declared illegal or not, then when was it declared illegal, after few days, few months, few years. Even if you are confused about third, but if you are sure about statement 2, that it is wrong, then you can easily get the required answer. Any doubt? Now, with reference to Indian national movement, consider the following persons and the positions they were holding at that time. First is Tej Bahadur Sapru, second person is K.C. Nyogi, third is P.C. Joshi. Most of us did know that K.C. Nyogi was member of Constitution Assembly. Okay, so depending on that, you can remove at least 2 options. Okay, K.C. Nyogi, the statement 2 should be in the answer, or the connection 2 has to be in the answer. A and C are gone, B and D. Now the doubt is regarding third. In that case, doubt is regarding third, whether PC Joshi was General Secretary of Communist Party of India. You might be knowing that Communist Party was started in India in 1925. PC Joshi, if you read Spectrum well, you will come to know that PC Joshi, then M.N. Roy, those those people were connected to Communist Party of India. So in general sense, you can see that PC Joshi is a communist leader. So in that case, you can think that he could be a General Secretary of Communist Party of India. Okay, so the answer should be D, 1, 2, 3. Now even in the statement in the connection 1, we can make some kind of assumptions. Sir, Tej Bahadur Sapru, you might be knowing, if you read Spectrum well, you will come to know that he was a liberal person. So in that case, he can be the president of Liberal Federation. He was not active participant in freedom struggle like Gandhi or Nehru. He was like a moderate leader. He was basically a liberal leader. So in that case, even the statement 1 can be right, and actually all the 3 are right. Come to question number 16. Now this is a question where even if you don't know much about Tansen, you can easily solve this question. Please mark the keywords, that is not is the keyword here. Now come to statement 1. Tansen was the title given by Emperor Akbar. Now it's a completely factual. There you can't guess whether that title was given by Akbar or not. We'll come to second. Tansen composed Drupadan Hindu gods and goddesses. This is general statement. Tansen was a Hindu. Okay, so he might have composed some Drupadas on Hindu gods and goddesses. Tansen composed songs on his patrons. Obviously, at that time the poets in the court of their lords, they used to compose songs on them, and Tansen was very well known singer, lyricist at that time, and then invented many ragas. Here the word many means it's a subjective word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a general statement. So if you see these 3 are general, you can't directly confidently say that this is right, wrong, or this B is right or wrong, C is right or wrong. These are general statements. Tansen composed songs on his patrons. It's a general. They didn't mention that patron is only Akbar or earlier leaders, later leaders. Then Tansen composed Drupadas, Hindu gods and goddesses. So these 3 are general statements. In general, you can't directly say that these are wrong. So in worst case scenario, if you want to solve this question, even if you don't have sufficient knowledge, you can go with this. It's a completely factual. That whichever is completely factual, that can be wrong, more wrong than remaining 3. Okay. Who among the following Mughal emperors shifted emphasis from illustrated manuscripts to individual portraits? If you know, every other king had a different worldview regarding arts at that time. Shah Jahan was known for marble buildings. Akbar was known for forts. He built forts, the new city. Then Humayun, he had a very brief period as king. He died soon. He was father of Akbar. So Jahangir had a special interest in paintings. If you read themes in Indian history, part 2, there is a last chapter on Mughal Empire, where there are so many paintings, and nearly in all the paintings the name of Jahangir is mentioned. And in general, if you read medieval history, old NCERT, you will find Jahangir associated with painting more than the other Mughal kings. So in all the four, C is the more appropriate choice. Which one of the following national parks lies completely in temperate alpine zone? Now temperate alpine zones means your conceptual understanding about this temperate alpine zone should be clear. Where do we find temperate plus alpine zones in India? For that you must know what is mean by temperate and alpine zones. Okay, if you read G.C. Leong, in the second part of the book he has covered various areas at like tundra, climatic zones, tundra, equatorial, rainforest, alpine, kind of climate, temperate kind of climate. So you know that the temperate alpine, there are two ways, either latitudinal, that means high latitude, or altitude. India is not a high altitude country, high latitude country. So in India the condition is high altitude. The areas with high altitude, there we can find temperate alpine zones. So then in that case, if you stick to word alpine, then it should be Himalayas only, right? So which of the following national park lies completely in the temperate alpine zones? That means that national park should be on Himalaya, and that too at least 3000 meters above mean sea level. Above mean sea level. So in that case you can remove some of the options. Manas National Park, it is in Assam, but it is in the plains of Brahmaputra. So this condition is not met. 3000 meters above mean sea level. First is gone. Come to second, Namdapha National Park. Namdapha National Park, it starts from plain to hills. So it doesn't completely lies in the temperate alpine zone. Part of it might be there in temperate alpine zone, but the whole national park doesn't lie in temperate alpine zone. If you know, it is on the confluence of Brahmaputra and Lohit river. Here somewhere it lies. So but it starts from plains to greater heights. So it is also removed. Now these two options are there in front of you. Valley of Flowers. If you make a list of national parks, you will come to know that Valley of Flower completely lies in Himachal Pradesh. If I am not wrong, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand or Himachal Pradesh. Even if you consider Himachal Pradesh or Uttarakhand, these two states lie in the temperate alpine zone. Okay, snowfall is there regularly. So among Neora Valley and Valley of Flowers, there should not be confusion with D. D lies completely in temperate alpine zone. Even if you don't know about Neora Valley, you can easily mark the answer D, because first A, B and D are more in news, more in your syllabus. Like for example, if you read Shankar IAS environment book, these national parks are very well mentioned than Neora Valley National Park, right? So in that case, even if you are able to remove first two, among the remaining two you can easily choose option D. There should not be any confusion with Valley of Flowers. Okay. Now this question, Atal Innovation Mission, it is a current affair question. It is easily covered in any of the current affair material, whether it is Vision IAS or Insights. Okay, so the answer is Niti Aayog. See, no doubt. Now this is a conceptual question on 21st June. Now just you have to think, you have to use your daily experiences. on 21st June is the biggest day in the northern hemisphere, right? See the options. Biggest day in northern hemisphere, that means if this is the earth, this is the equator, the size of day will increase if you move from equator to 90° north, the size of day will increase. So on here, complete day, 24 hours day for 6 months. Okay, now we will read options first. Does not set below the horizon at Arctic Circle. We will read other three as well. Does not set below the horizon at Antarctic Circle. Now, Antarctic Circle is somewhere here, 66° south. You know, on 21st June, the sun is on this side. Okay, the day is bigger here. So here should be darkness. So there won't be any light. B is wrong. Shines vertically overhead or equator. Your personal experience. We are from India. We know that on 21st June the day is bigger in northern hemisphere. The sun won't be vertically overhead at equator. It would be overhead at Tropic of Cancer. Okay, on 21st June. Right? The upper limit of the sun. This is also wrong. Come to this. Shines vertically overhead at Tropic of Capricorn. If it is vertically overhead at Tropic of Capricorn, the day won't be bigger in the northern hemisphere. This is also gone. The answer is this. On this day, on Arctic Circle, there will be 24 hours day. Okay. Any doubt? Clear? Thank you. All the best. We will take next 10 questions in the next video. Till that time, thank you.